Operation Fly Formula could start moving imports of foreign formula into the United States in the next few days. The White House announcing the first flight carrying around 246 pallets of formula from Zurich, Switzerland to Indiana has been approved. It can't come soon enough for worried parents. And on Capitol Hill yesterday, lawmakers on both sides grilled the FDA commissioner on where the nation's formula shortage goes from here.
We should begin to see improvement within days.
So I can tell my constituents that within a matter of days, they'll be able to find formula on the shelves?
Within days, it will get better, but it will be a few weeks before we're back to normal.
The FDA telling NBC News it is concerned not having certain formulas available on shelves could pose life-threatening risks for infants.
3 girls, oh my goodness.
Like 3-month-old triplets, Nami, Eritrea, and Anya. Their mom, Sydney Galvin, says she's been grappling with the shortage for 2 months after their formula was recalled.
How are you dealing?
I'm just really taking it day by day, to be honest.
Unable to find her formula on shelves, she had no choice but to suddenly switch brands.
They weren't tolerating it very well at first, actually. They had a lot of reflux.
Desperate, she's now turning to the Mother's Milk Bank here in Austin. The milk bank usually reserves this milk for the most medically fragile babies, like those in hospitals. But for formula-fed babies in crisis, they're giving away 39 ounces of donor milk per baby, ramping up processing and pasteurizing to meet the growing need.
If we don't fill this gap, families will attempt to fill the gap themselves by choosing to dilute their available formula or choosing to feed their infants something not made for infants. That cannot happen.
Texas has been hit particularly hard. The formula out of stock rate here is now 50%. Parents are thankful as milk banks step up to fill the void, now shipping the life-saving milk to 26 states.
I'm so glad that they could give us a little bit.
All right, that was Jolene Kent reporting. Now, the Senate passed a bipartisan bill, the Access to Baby Formula Act, by unanimous consent last night. It passed in the House on Wednesday by a 414-9 vote and now heads to the president's desk. But here are the Republicans who voted against the Access to Baby Formula Act. Andy Biggs, Arizona, Lauren Boebert, Colorado, Matt Gaetz, Louis Gohmert, Paul Gosar, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Clay Higgins, Thomas Massey, Chip Roy. Joining us now, Chair of the Committee on Agriculture, Nutrition and Forestry, Democratic Senator Debbie Stabenow of Michigan. So how will this legislation work to get baby formula into the mouths of babies that desperately need it?
Well, Mika, first of all, it's great to be with you, and I really appreciate all the focus you've put on this. I mean, this is horrible what's happened. It's a all hands on deck moment here, and I think as a mom, if this was my son or daughter when they were little, or my grandkids, I would be absolutely horrified and angry, and people should be. What we do in our committee is oversee what is about half of the baby formula that is available to moms and babies, and that is the WIC program, which is for low-income moms and babies. Really, really important. And so what this does is guarantee that going forward, the USDA has the power to do whatever is necessary to help moms get whatever is on the shelf for them, whether it's under a WIC contract or not, that whatever formula is available, they can get it, which may sound like that's not much. It's a big deal right now in terms of making sure they can get whatever available, whatever size. So all hands on deck to make sure they can get this. So secondly, I would just say, anybody with a WIC contract, any company now is going to have a complete plan on what they do in a shutdown. And thirdly, which I think is important, is that the FDA is going to have to communicate better with the U.S. Department of Agriculture if something like this is going to happen. USDA was given about 2 weeks heads up before the plant closed, and so, which was a whole other question here in my deep concerns about the USDA and the plant. I mean, Abbott is still not accepting responsibility for this.
Well, and there's a million questions there, especially about that being the only place that America has to go for baby formula practically, which is an issue. These solutions are very practical, but they're long-term. And so the question is how to solve the crisis right now, because there are babies that are suffering and some are going to the hospital. What would you suggest the White House consider in terms of how to get that baby formula that's on the way on military jets into the mouths of babies? Should they go to store shelves and be sold?
Well, they're going to have to move as fast as possible. I know that through the WIC program, the USDA knows where there's a need for formula and where there isn't. In some parts of the country, it's not as much as others. So information's there. FDA should have it. It should be going directly to communities in the fastest way possible. And I do think when we look at right now, because this is like today, moms are saying, okay, today, what do I do? So I can't stress the sense of urgency. But bringing in imports of safe baby formula, this is critical. We have to, and this is why it's so important. We're working with countries that have high safety standards, like the United States does. Doing that, we're seeing more companies ramp up. Other companies are ramping up their volume, which is very important. And then you're right, long term, this is for later. We've got to deal with concentration. There's only 4 major formula manufacturers, and so we've got a lot of things to deal with down the road. Right now is how do you get formula as fast as possible?
And that's the big question, Willie Geist, because I'm concerned that when it gets to store shelves across America, the formula that's coming in from abroad, do they jack up the prices? Is there a run on the stores? And then you end up with the same problem. I just wonder if this is like COVID tests, that it needs to be handed out to families that need it, initially at least.
Yeah, there's already been some price gouging, but this influx from Switzerland is welcome just to get this process moving. But Senator, you have sort of a unique view of this because that Abbott factory, that plant that has become the center of this conversation is in your state, down in Sturgis, Michigan. So let's go back a little bit as we talk about how we got here and we try to figure this out. There were some inspections back last fall, a whistleblower report out of that facility in October that there were some problems there. And then ultimately, as you say, it was closed in February. Should there have been some guidance, some notice much earlier in the process, say last fall, where the White House and the government could have anticipated some of this and say, hey, this place may shut down. What's our contingency plan? Yes, Willie, there was a lot of mistakes made here. I mean, there was a whistleblower in October, as you said, who I understand was subsequently fired. The FDA was too slow. They kept going into the plant, but didn't actually find anything until the end of January, and then again didn't tell other parts of the government, like USDA, who is responsible for half the baby formula distribution in the country, until 2 weeks before the plant was shut down. And there's a combination, though. I mean, this is a huge plant that 1 out of 5 cans of baby food in the country are manufactured at this plant. So this is huge, and there needed to be a greater sense of urgency. What we're unwinding here is that it appears that FDA thought it was going to be a short shutdown, and then the plant itself, Abbott, has been resistant, really, in my judgment, to really quickly doing what they need to do. They're now saying that it really wasn't their fault. And so there's the resistance, even though they are going through inspections now. And once the inspections are done and the safety protocols are in place, they still expect it'll be 8 to 10 weeks before this plant will be up and running. So I have a lot of questions, serious concerns about FDA response and the plant, who needs to be held accountable. Abbott needs to be held accountable for what happened. And that timeline is important because, contrary to what we've heard, this didn't just sneak up on people. This has been many months in the making. Senator Debbie Stabenow of Michigan. It is the Access to Baby Formula Act through the Senate and the House, now on the desk of the President of the United States. Senator, thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate it. You're welcome.